Hi, I'm Dr. Elizabeth Saunders-Medlock from Life by Design Coaching. Today our workshop is going to be on tips for managing personal change. As we know, the only constant is change, and most people are dealing with change in their life all the time. So today what I'm going to give you is some quick tips on how to manage the change that's going on in your life. One of the most important things to do to manage change is to identify what you can control to change and what you cannot. Again, that's the most important step, and a very important first step is there's a lot of things you're not going to be able to change, and there's a lot of things you're not going to be able to control. You have to identify those things in which you're in control of and the things that you can actually change. The second thing you need to do to manage personal change is identify your options. So how many different options do you have? Some people get stuck in one option. There's never just one option when you're going through a change process. When your world is changing, when your life is changing, there's many different paths that you can go down. So identify what those options are, visualize them, write them down, think about them. You should always have an A, a B, a C, and maybe even a D option in front of you. Create a support system around you when you have a lot of change going on in your life. Change is hard to navigate and to go through yourself. So make sure that you have supportive people in your life to help you, whether that be friends, be family members, be colleagues. But have a people around you that support you, that can help you, that can give you guidance, and that support the decisions and the choices that you make. Examine your attitude is the next thing. The way to be successful in moving through change, and you know what the life brings changes all the time, is to have a good attitude about change. Remain flexible, remain open. I think it's the people that get stuck in ways of being and doing and thinking that can't see themselves in any other light. They have very hard times changing. So the idea is to examine your attitude about it and adopt a positive attitude about change. That change is the norm, change is the constant, and I'm a person that can get through change and sail through changes in my life, and I can do it successfully. The other thing is, again, remain flexible. Flexibility is key. If you get too set in your ways, and I see people, we always call them dug in. When you're dug in and the waves are crashing against you, they really knock you back. But if you can roll with the wave, you're going to have an easier time and not get as battered and bruised. Give yourself a break when you're going through a change process, because it's very difficult. And a lot of people will think, I need to tackle this head on, I need to get through it, I need to get through it quickly, I need to be doing everything I can, anything I can. But be easy on yourself, go easy on yourself, and give yourself a break. I mean, if you need a down day, if you need a crying day, if you need I need to stay in bed day, if you need a sleep day, if you need a break day, take them. Because it's okay to take a break and take time for yourself, because change is a hard process. Strive to achieve balance and perspective. And these are things I've always talked a lot about, is don't get caught up in the change as being the end-all be-all, the only thing that's going on in your life. Because as change happens, we still have our lives. A lot of people are going through job changes, career changes, losing their jobs. It's a huge change. But you still have your family, and all the other aspects of your lives that were there are still there. So it's not the center of your universe. Change is just part of your life. So put it in its perspective, balance it with the other things. And don't make it the end-all be-all and the overwhelming thing that starts to run and take over your life. It's important to realize that people change at different paces, and I hate to tell everybody this, but as we get older, we get more set in our ways, and it's harder to change. It's true. So change is going to be slower for people, and some people are going to be able to adapt quickly. And don't look at other people and say, well, that person was able to do that so quickly and I can't. It's okay. Everybody's process and path is different, and everybody's speed of change is different. And be okay with the rate that you can change. Some of us change quickly, some of us change slowly, and that's okay. The pace of change, or how you adapt to change and how fast you get through that process, is really going to depend on 5 things. Your safety, your specificity, your age, your time, and your attitude toward change. Your safety is, before people really change and try something new, you have to feel safe and secure. It's hard to really go out on a limb unless that limb's pretty stable and it's not going to break. So you have to check out the limb before you walk out on it, and you have to have a feeling of safety. Specificity is also very important. As everyone has always heard, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. And that's so true. To start with small things that you can change instead of grabbing onto big chunks. start with the small chunks. And the need to be small and start with something specific is very important, because if you start with small things, you can move through change a little bit quicker because you're biting off smaller chunks. Your age, again, as you get older, it takes longer to adapt. It's harder to rethink things, to redo things, to behave in different ways, but that's okay. That's going to slow us down a little bit. And time, you have to have time to break old habits. You know, habits are hard to break. We get into them. We've been doing them a very long time in our lives. So it's okay to allow yourself time to break those habits. And it's going to happen gradually. It's going to happen slowly, and that's okay. And again, your attitude. You can become your worst enemy, and you can become your own self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't think that you can change, if you don't think you can be different, you basically have just shot yourself in the foot. Because the moment you adopt the attitude that I can't do this, I can't be this way, I can't get through this, you can't. So check your attitude, because that's going to help you go through the change process. The last thing I want to cover is some key points of successful change. Remember, the hardest thing to change is attitudes. Nothing kills your spirit like attitudes that resist it. So everything that work against you, that create resistance to moving forward, you got to get rid of it. Most of the people that failure really stems from two words, which is I can't and yes, but. As soon as you say yes, but, you're then listing all the things of why you can't change. So there should just be yes in your vocabulary, not I can't or yes, but. The people that are really good at change don't reject people's advice because they feel like they're going to be controlled. You can take other people's guidance and advice and not be controlled by it. And you have to learn how to do that without feeling that you're being controlled or you're doing what other people tell you to do. There's a healthy and safe place to have advice be a part of your life. Remember that complaining is okay as long as it's not a substitute for action. So you can have your complaining days, as we call them something else, but you know what I'm talking about, those sessions, and vent them as long as you then continue to move forward. But when complaining becomes a substitute for action, you're in trouble. Unexpected change, things that happen that you think are good change can result in things that are not so good. You see this happen all the time when people lose weight and the people that they're with don't know how to handle it because they're all of a sudden more attractive and they lose people around them. It happens all the time. So sometimes we can have positive change that leads to these unexpected negative consequences or negative results. And that's going to happen sometimes because when you change, some people are not going to be able to adapt to your change. And those people may need to fall away from your life, and that's okay. Fear of commitment is also a huge thing. When you're changing and you have goals that you've set for yourself, not really fully committing something can stop you dead in your tracks. I see a lot of people that go through all the motions, but without the commitment to say, I'm really going to do this and I'm really going to move towards that, they kind of get stuck. So get rid of that fear of committing, because you got to go for it and you got to commit to it. Remember, the other thing is, and I think this is very hard for people to conceptualize, is that everything is open in your life. Every change, everything is available to you. There's abundancy and you need to take advantage of it. And that's really counter to, I think, the way a lot of people think, that all options are open. But if you really think about it, you can choose to do just about anything. You're the one, again, that limits yourself, not other people. So think about it as it's all on the table. There's no limits. It's all out there and I can take advantage of it. The last thing to remember is give positive strokes to yourself. Keep on being positive. Tell yourself you're doing great. You know, be your best support system and be your best cheerleader and pat yourself on the back. But a lot of people have trouble doing this. It's amazing how well we can compliment others and see that others are doing great and give compliments, but we can't do the same for ourselves. Because self-criticism, for some reason, is a lot easier than being positive about yourself. But you have to be positive about yourself. And I think the last thing to remember in managing change in any process is you have to balance pleasing yourself with pleasing others. You can't always please others because it's usually at the expense of pleasing yourself. And whenever you're going through change, really protecting yourself and pleasing yourself and doing things to bring yourself joy in your life are important. And that has to be balanced with serving others. Serve yourself, also serve others. So today we've been talking about tips for managing personal change. I hope you've gotten something out of this workshop today and you enjoyed it. For more information, you can go to www.lifebydesigncoaching.org. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Saunders Medlock from Life by Design Coaching. Thanks for spending this time with me.